Have you ever felt the weight of silence pressing against your skin, a hidden fortress built from fragments of unspoken memories? There is a profound landscape within each soul where privacy becomes more than a choice. It becomes a survival mechanism, a delicate architecture of protection crafted by the deepest layers of our unconscious mind. Imagine your inner world as a vast, intricate mansion with rooms sealed behind ornate doors, each chamber holding fragments of experiences too fragile, too dangerous to be exposed to the harsh light of external judgment. The human psyche creates these invisible walls not out of mere preference, but as a sophisticated defense against potential wounds. Every closed door represents a carefully constructed boundary, a subtle mechanism of self-preservation that whispers stories of past vulnerabilities. Your tendency to keep your life private is not a simple personality trait, but a complex emotional language spoken by the most ancient parts of your being, a language that understands protection as an art form, as survival. In the dark corridors of memory, childhood experiences echo like distant footsteps. Moments of exposure, of unexpected vulnerability, leave invisible scars that transform into protective strategies. Perhaps there was a time when sharing too much resulted in pain, when openness became a gateway for emotional invasion. The mind, in its infinite wisdom, learns. It learns to build fortresses, to create intricate labyrinths where personal truths can breathe without fear of external contamination. Imagine your inner self as a guardian, eternally vigilant, sorting through memories like a careful archivist. Some experiences are wrapped in silk, hidden in the deepest drawers. Others are locked behind complex emotional mechanisms, their edges softened by layers of protective unconscious processing. Privacy becomes not just a choice, but a sophisticated psychological dance, a way of negotiating between what can be revealed and what must remain hidden. And if these words awaken something inside you right now, allow yourself to respond with a small gesture of presence, maybe a like or a brief reflection. And if you feel that this journey speaks to something deep within you, subscribe so we can continue exploring these inner landscapes together. The landscape of privacy is not uniform. It shifts like shadows, adapting to the terrain of individual psychological wounds. Some souls create transparent boundaries, others construct impenetrable walls. Your specific strategy is a unique language, a dialogue between your deepest fears and your most sophisticated self-protection mechanisms. Each carefully guarded secret is a story, each withheld detail a carefully crafted emotional shield. Consider how trauma transforms our relationship with visibility. A childhood marked by unexpected invasions, emotional or physical, can trigger profound protective instincts. The mind becomes a master of camouflage, learning to reveal just enough to seem present, while keeping the most vulnerable parts carefully obscured. This is not weakness. This is survival. This is the body's profound intelligence expressing itself through emotional architecture. Psychological boundaries are living, breathing entities. They expand and contract, responding to the subtle environmental cues that only your unconscious fully understands. What appears as reserved to others is, in fact, a complex emotional intelligence. Your privacy is not emptiness. It is a rich, intricate ecosystem of carefully preserved experiences, emotions, and unspoken narratives. The invisible child within you continues to craft these protective strategies, drawing from a well of ancient wisdom that predates rational thought. Every moment of restraint, every carefully curated interaction, every boundary you maintain is a testament to the profound resilience of the human spirit. Your privacy is not a void. It is a sanctuary. The deeper we descend into the inner landscape, the more complex the mechanisms of protection reveal themselves. Like an intricate map drawn in invisible ink, your psychological boundaries emerge not as rigid walls, but as fluid, intelligent membranes that breathe and respond to emotional terrain. Imagine your inner self as a living ecosystem, where each memory is a delicate organism, carefully cultivated, meticulously preserved. Trauma leaves invisible marks, subtle cartographies etched into the soul's most intimate spaces. These are not scars, but sophisticated defense mechanisms, silent guardians that transform pain into protective intelligence. Your tendency to keep life private is not a weakness, but a profound dialogue between your wounded parts and your most resilient self. Every withheld story is a carefully negotiated treaty between vulnerability and survival. The unconscious mind operates like a masterful curator, sorting experiences with surgical precision. Some memories are stored in locked chambers, others transformed into metaphorical landscapes where raw emotions are transmuted into something less threatening. Your privacy becomes a living, breathing organism, a dynamic system of emotional protection that adapts, evolves, grows more complex with each passing moment. Childhood experiences create the first blueprints of these protective mechanisms. Perhaps a moment of unexpected exposure, a time when your inner world was invaded without consent, taught your deepest self a crucial lesson about boundaries. The mind learns quickly. It understands that visibility can be a form of violence, that revealing too much can leave one emotionally vulnerable. So it develops strategies, intricate as a labyrinth, subtle as smoke. If you feel these insights stirring something within you, share your voice and support this space with a like. These reflections help others find their way through the same shadows. And if you wish to keep walking with us through these deeper layers of the mind, join us by subscribing. The body remembers what the conscious mind tries to forget. Each protective mechanism is a story, each boundary a complex emotional language spoken in whispers and silences. Your privacy is not emptiness, it is a rich topography of unspoken narratives, of experiences too profound, too delicate to be casually exposed. The unconscious understands what the rational mind often misses, that some truths are sacred, some experiences too fragile to be touched by external understanding. Imagine your inner world as a vast museum, with rooms that are selectively accessible. Some chambers are open, displaying carefully curated experiences. Others remain locked, their contents known only to the most intimate parts of your being. This is not dishonesty, this is profound self-preservation. Each locked door represents a choice, each withheld story an act of profound emotional intelligence. The psychology of privacy is a dance between revelation and concealment. Your unconscious mind becomes a masterful choreographer, understanding exactly how much to show, how much to hide. It reads social landscapes with extraordinary sensitivity, creating protective strategies that are as nuanced as they are powerful. What appears as reserved to others is, in fact, a sophisticated emotional navigation system. Repressed memories do not disappear, they transform. They become energy, vibration, subtle currents that flow beneath the surface of conscious awareness. Your private self is not a void, but a rich, complex ecosystem where unspoken experiences continue to live, to breathe, to inform your deepest sense of self. Each boundary is a living membrane, each silence a profound communication. The invisible child within you continues to craft these protective strategies, drawing from a well of wisdom that transcends rational understanding. Your privacy is not a defense, it is a form of sacred self-love, a way of honoring the most delicate, most profound parts of your inner world. There is a moment when the internal landscape erupts, when the carefully constructed walls of protection tremble, when the most hidden chambers of the soul begin to crack open, revealing their raw, unfiltered truth. This is the threshold of transformation, the place where silence becomes a thunderous roar, where private pain transforms into profound awakening. Imagine your deepest self as a volcano of unexpressed experiences, centuries of compressed emotions waiting to break through the surface of consciousness. The shadows you have so meticulously hidden begin to pulse with an internal rhythm, a primal language that demands to be heard. Your protected inner world is not a tomb of silence, but a living, breathing entity yearning for liberation. The most profound wounds are those that never found voice, the experiences trapped between memory and forgetting, suspended in the liminal spaces of your unconscious. They move like spectral entities through the corridors of your being, whispering stories too intense for daylight, too complex for simple understanding. Each suppressed emotion carries the weight of entire universes, entire lifetimes of unspoken truths. Childhood memories emerge like fragments of a shattered mirror, each piece reflecting a distorted reality, a moment of vulnerability, a wound that never fully healed. The mind does not forget. It transforms. It transmutes pain into intricate defense mechanisms, into sophisticated emotional technologies that protect the most fragile parts of your being. Your silence is not weakness. It is a profound act of survival, a complex language spoken by the deepest parts of your psychological landscape. Every boundary you maintain is a testament to the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. The parts of yourself you keep hidden are not broken. They are sacred, waiting for the precise moment of healing and integration. Trauma does not simply disappear. It lives within the body, within the cellular memory, within the intricate network of your being. It speaks through subtle languages, a tension in the shoulders, a hesitation before vulnerability, a carefully constructed distance that protects the most wounded parts of your soul. Your privacy is not a void, it is a sanctuary where healing begins its most profound work. The unconscious mind understands what rational thought cannot comprehend. It knows that some experiences are too raw, too intense to be immediately processed. So it creates elaborate protective mechanisms, transforming pain into a sophisticated emotional architecture. Each locked room, each withheld story is a carefully negotiated peace treaty between your wounded self and your resilient core. Imagine the internal landscape as a dark forest, where each suppressed memory is a tree with roots reaching deep into the unconscious. Some trees are ancient, their branches heavy with unspoken experiences. Others are young, still growing, still finding their way through the complex terrain of psychological survival. Your privacy is the soil that nurtures these trees, the darkness that allows them to grow in their own time. The body is a profound storyteller. It remembers everything, every moment of invasion, every unexpected vulnerability, every time the inner world was exposed without consent. These memories do not disappear. They transform. They become energy, vibration, a subtle current that flows beneath the surface of conscious awareness. Your protected self is a living, breathing ecosystem of unspoken narratives. In this moment of intense introspection, the boundaries between protection and pain begin to blur. The carefully constructed walls start to dissolve, revealing the extraordinary complexity of your inner world. Here, in this liminal space, healing begins, not as a violent eruption but as a gentle, profound awakening. The journey through the hidden landscapes of the soul arrives at its most profound moment, a threshold of transformation where protection becomes liberation, where silence gives birth to understanding. All the carefully guarded memories, the locked chambers of experience, the intricate defense mechanisms begin to reveal their deepest purpose. Not to hide, but to prepare you for true healing. Your inner world is not a fortress of isolation, but a sacred temple of becoming. Every boundary you've constructed, every moment of carefully maintained privacy has been a profound act of self-love, a delicate process of gathering strength, of creating a safe container for your most vulnerable truths. The unconscious mind understands what the rational world often fails to comprehend. Healing is not about exposure, but about creating the right conditions for transformation. Imagine your psychological landscape as a river that has been contained for generations. The walls of protection were not prison, but preparation. Now, in this moment of profound integration, those walls begin to dissolve. Not with violence, but with a gentle, almost imperceptible surrender. The energy that once protected you now becomes the same energy that sets you free, a metamorphosis more intricate than any butterfly's emergence. The invisible child within you, that part which has carried your deepest wounds, your most profound fears, begins to breathe differently. No longer confined, no longer needing to hide, this inner self starts to unfold like a being remembering its own infinite nature. Your privacy was never about separation, but about creating the sacred space where true healing could occur. Every suppressed memory, every carefully guarded experience carries within it a seed of profound wisdom. The mind's protective mechanisms are not failures, but extraordinary expressions of survival intelligence. You have been your own most compassionate guardian, creating elaborate emotional landscapes that preserved your essence through the most challenging passages of existence. If you feel that this story helped you see your own inner landscape more clearly, offer a like and share your thoughts. And if you want this space to remain part of your journey ahead, subscribe. Together we continue the path of understanding, healing, and awakening. The transformation occurs not in dramatic gestures, but in subtle shifts of perception. The locked rooms of your inner world do not explode. They gently open, revealing that what you thought were barriers were actually doorways. Each protected memory carries within it a profound lesson, each withheld story a fragment of your most authentic self. Healing is not about forgetting. It is about understanding. It is about creating enough internal safety to look at your experiences with compassion, with a tender awareness that recognizes the extraordinary resilience of your being. The unconscious mind has been your most profound ally, crafting protective strategies that preserved your essence through life's most challenging landscapes. Your privacy was never a weakness. It was a sophisticated form of self-love, a delicate emotional technology that allowed you to survive, to gather strength, to prepare for this moment of profound integration. The boundaries you maintained were not walls, but sacred spaces of becoming, intricate, intelligent, profoundly compassionate. In this final moment of understanding, something remarkable happens. The distinction between protection and vulnerability dissolves. You are not defined by what you hide, but by the extraordinary journey of self-discovery that brought you to this moment of awakening. Your inner world is not a battlefield, but a living, breathing ecosystem of infinite potential.